Boys, listen. How long have I been saying that Xbox is failing? How long have I been saying that Xbox is dying? And there it is. Once again, I have been proven right. I don't know why a couple of Xbox fanboys are so adamant trying to tell me, oh no, you have no idea what you're talking about. All of these YouTube videos where you predict something and it turns out exactly right, none of that matters. You predicting that Xbox gaming is going to completely get decimated by PlayStation 3 years ago, that doesn't matter. For the exact same reasons why Xbox is saying that they are giving up for PlayStation, that doesn't matter. Ah, man, being so right is honestly painful. And here I am, once again, being right. You gotta love it. You love to hate it, but it always happens. Xbox is gonna be hit with layoffs. We predicted this. I have told you this already. Xbox is trying to become the Netflix of gaming, while Netflix themselves are constantly fighting to not lay off people of their own because while Netflix, in the grand scheme of things, is winning in the streaming wars, that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. Netflix is struggling real hard. And Xbox currently is trying to replicate a already failing business model. And that usually does not go well. Oh yeah. It's bad. It's real bad.
So, if you guys are unaware, Xbox has been getting hit with layoffs pretty hard, and Microsoft, obviously, as a whole, the entire company has been getting hit with layoffs. Recently, Microsoft laid off a little over 6,000 people. And everybody thought that that was going to be the end of it, but apparently that is not the case. A couple of days
That was like a year and a half ago or something like that. And it was a minor thing, honestly.
ago, Microsoft announced that they were going to be doing another round of a few thousand layoffs for their company. And even though they are the richest company in the world by far, they still are experiencing layoffs in some of their smaller companies. And even though Xbox is not a smaller company, still compared to Microsoft in its entirety, it's one of its sub
Yeah,
companies.
it's
But in
pretty
any
small,
case,
yeah.
Xbox has officially been confirmed to be hit with layoffs from the recent Microsoft layoffs, and we are going to talk about it. So before we do that,
And you know why that is? Because Game Pass is a goddamn absolute failure. I have said this so many times. I'm tired of explaining why Game Pass does not work. Okay? You need to understand how Game Pass fundamentally functions. It's not actually good for the consumer. And recently, by the way, a couple of days ago, in fact, I I learned about the most insane thing I did not know about Game Pass. But it's the fact that games can actually be taken off of Game Pass. That's right. Something that was on Game Pass can be literally taken off. So that makes Game Pass completely useless. Because if you play a game and you kind of like it and you're excited for the next expansion of it, what if that game gets taken off of the Xbox because they know that a lot of people played it and they are waiting uh, for the expansion for it, and then you are forced to buy the new game because it's not on Xbox Game Pass anymore. Dude, they can do that, and that already turns out doing this. I didn't even know this, and this is probably the biggest red flag. Previously, it was, well, you need to play roughly 10 games a year to make Xbox Game Pass worth it. Most people don't do that. You know the way that Xbox Game Pass makes money? It just is relying on you being too lazy to cancel your subscription. By the way, that's literally how every single subscription service works. Where you have put in time and value, you're kind of reluctant to cancel it because, well, you're going to probably use it anyway. So it's a hustle to cancel it, even though it's not really a hustle to cancel it or anything. But this is what Xbox preys upon. And soon they're going to increase the prices of the Xbox Game Pass because they don't have enough people. I don't know why so many people are so dead set on trying to tell me, "Oh, Game Pass is successful." If Game Pass was successful on the most fundamental level imaginable, Xbox would never have given up on their consoles because most of their games were on Xbox. So if Xbox is successful because there's enough people playing it, Then why did they give up on consoles? Why did they give up on their consoles and allow their games to flow freely everywhere? That would never happen if Xbox was actually successful. Do you understand? Are you picking up what I am placing down? It's not really that hard.
Special shout out to the 90,600 of you that are subscribed to the channel right now, and the
Like,
over 50% that are
subscribe.
not subscribed. If you enjoy the content, consider hitting that subscribe button. It's not
Damn.
too shocking. I know it might be shocking to a lot of the hardcore Xbox players, if there is such a thing out there currently in the comment section, about to yell at me for another Xbox video that I'm making, questioning why I don't make PlayStation videos, even though I do and they never watch them. Well,
Yeah, same. Dude, I love when an Xbox fanboy comments down, why are you being such a PlayStation fanboy? Bro, when have I said anything positive about PlayStation? What do you mean? Okay, to be honest, the PlayStation library of games is so much superior to Xbox, it's not even funny. I do humiliate Xbox on a regular basis on the fact that they have literally not have games for 2 decades in a row now. But PlayStation's not a lot better, okay? But at least they have like three or something exciting looking games on their showcase
Xbox unfortunately has made some bad decisions lately, and they've also made some
lately.
really good decisions that we have
Have
talked about
they?
as well. One of the worst decisions that I think they've ever made so far is the recent announcement of a MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition. I don't understand a single person who would want this headset. Not only that, this has to be one of the worst specs that I've ever seen
The
for a
hell is
headset.
this?
This headset has barely more than 2 hours of battery life. That is how bad it is. MetaQuest hasn't made any money for Facebook at all. They haven't made any money for Meta. Meta has been confirmed to have lost billions of dollars. This article from Kotaku, published in April of 26, 2024,
Oh
says that
yeah.
Facebook has lost $1 billion every month on virtual reality since June of 2022. And they've lost over $45 billion on virtual reality and the metaverse since 2000.
Dude, Zuck's metaverse was such an insanely stupid failure.
2020. And yet, for some reason, Xbox decided it was in their best interest to invest in a MetaQuest 3S Xbox edition, with which, by the way, comes with 3 months of Game Pass. So I know you're excited about that. But regardless, we still got layoffs, and we got to talk about exactly what's going down here. So the Xbox gaming division will be the latest area hit by layoffs at Microsoft. According to
Let's
a new report,
go!
the layoffs will take place.
Let's go! Fight all of these useless virtue signalers. By the way, dude, if listen, I've watched the Xbox Summer Games Fest, the recent one, whatever, where they announced a lot of games. Okay, the only thing that looked good was Dawn Walker. Very excited about that. If you haven't seen the video, I talk about it. Very excited about that one. But everything else was literal shit. And my predictions is that Clockwork Revolution is gonna probably be one of the worst because that is literally a woke-esque type capitalism bad revolution now type of game. And that's pretty much most of Xbox's stuff. They are still massively constantly going with the DEI. But when you look at PlayStation, sure you don't have anything super exciting. There's like 3 games that you can kind of be vaguely excited about, I guess. But at least they have games that look at least potentially fun. Xbox has none of that. Xbox literally doesn't have games that look like games. Most of them have some kind of DEI, and that DEI is literally crammed front and center of everything that they show. It's really bad. But PlayStation, I mean, they have games that look like they're just being made to be fun. Are they going to be groundbreaking? No, but at least they have that. At least.
Next week as part of a company wide reorganization. And keep in mind, it was about a couple of weeks ago where Xbox did, well, not Xbox, but Microsoft did the initial few thousand people that they fired. And when they fired those people, they were asked what was the reasoning or how are they going about firing these people? And they basically flat out said that they're going based off merit. Now, whether or not you believe them or not, I'll leave that up
No.
to you as the viewer. But the fact that they said that they're firing people based off merit and that the layoffs were going to continue, at this point now, you got to imagine they're going to be firing the bloat that is in their company, or at least that's what you would hope, right? If you're going to fire people, at least make it worthwhile and fire the leeches, fire the people who don't do anything, fire the people that are the reason why you can have games in development for 7
I'm pretty sure that means just firing literally everyone at this point. I do not believe that there is a single person in all of Xbox, all of their subsidiaries, all of their sister companies that has talent. Xbox is just a joke.
Years and have nothing to show for it. Fire those people. Get rid of them and get them out of the gaming industry because they do nothing but leech salaries from companies that are willing to pay them so long as they're the right skin color. But in any case, these layoffs come just days after it was revealed that the company was cutting a number of sales positions in order to use
Like, listen, the Xbox Game Showcase was proudly showcasing a game where you're a black female astronaut. Yeah, I mean, doesn't that scream we're making games here? Or something else, maybe?
third party firms. While it's unclear how many people are set to lose their jobs, Bloomberg's Jason Schreier, get woke, go to the top of the charts. He reports that
That
Xbox's
idiot,
various
yes.
managers are expecting substantial cuts across the entire group. As of publishing, there are no other details about the layoffs, including what specific divisions or studios will be impacted. I think it's amazing that this company, Xbox especially, the company that all of the Xbox shows try to tell me every single day is doing so amazing. That's making billions of dollars in profit because the
Yeah, again, like Game Pass is should I go over actually the details of Xbox Game Pass? Should I give you the too long didn't read version of how absolutely disastrous and a sinking money pit the Game Pass is? Let me explain real quick, okay? For all of you absolute morons who can't figure out how bad Game Pass is. Listen, so the Game Pass, I don't remember how much it makes. It makes like a couple of billion in revenue. That's before taxes, first of all. So you minus taxes off of that one, and from that revenue, from that pure profit that it makes, it now needs to sponsor something like three AAA games a single year, and every single AAA game now costs at least 500 million of its own. That's not counting the marketing budget. And that is not counting all of the small games that need to also be made at the same time, and counting everything else that needs to be done there. That's not counting server maintenance, that's not counting this, that's not counting all of the expenses. The fact that an Xbox Game Pass does a year and it's and it's not negative, it's not literally hundreds of millions in the red, is a miracle when it happens because it doesn't happen. Xbox Game Pass is ridiculously a failure. Listen, if Xbox Game Pass was making even a sliver of actual money a year, none of this would be happening. We would have none of these problems. But it doesn't. And you're too stupid to understand that you're being lied to.
Game Pass is amazing. It's incredible. Oh my god, it makes so much money. It's very clear that that's not true. It's extremely clear that that's not true because Xbox continues to get hit, Microsoft continues to get hit, and sure, they are the richest company in the world, but they're still
Yeah, okay. Basic logic, okay? I know some of you are not ready for it, Xbox fans. Basic logic question time. If the Game Pass is working out so well and Xbox is doing so great, why the fuck are they getting letting go of people? If listen, why would you ever start firing people that are making your company successful if you're claiming that it is successful? Why would they do that? I wonder. I really wonder.
going to downsize if they're just not pulling in enough money to support their companies. And this is what's happening right now with Xbox, unfortunately. I think Xbox is having a bit of an identity crisis. I've said this many times. I think Xbox, unfortunately, in their quest
Bro, what do you mean? You're telling me this you're telling me this piece of paper is an Xbox is not good? What do you mean?
to try to be everything's an Xbox, I think has completely lost the hardcore fan base that they have. And people just realize that there's no point investing in Xbox hardware anymore because you can play Game Pass literally almost anywhere at this point. So there's no reason to go into the hardware aspect of the company anymore. It's just all about a publisher and all about the games. That's it, the first party games. Then it says Microsoft declined to comment to Bloomberg for the story. Insider Gaming has reached out for comment on the report. But according to Tom Warren of The Verge, some of the cuts are expected to come at the expense of employees across Central Europe. These cuts could see Xbox operations stopping entirely in various regions. If that's true, If Xbox stops entirely in some regions, then that means that this is going to be
This is exactly, by the way, what I predicted 3 years ago. I told you that Xbox collapse is going to start off the point that they absolutely have no market share in Asia. And then I said, then it's going to spread over to their second weakest region, which is Europe, because no one wants to fundamentally buy a dead console. Now, especially a dead console that has no exclusive games, because every game that's actually even remotely worth it is playable and buyable on PlayStation. Plus, it's probably a better deal on PlayStation because there's no way PlayStation agreed to Xbox not choosing when when they have discounts on PlayStation. There's no way Xbox's agreement with selling their shit on PlayStation had that in their favor. So PlayStation probably forced Xbox to give them the rights to choose how often, and well, to a reasonable degree, how often their games go on sale on the PlayStation platform, because this is a thing that happens in retail everywhere. For example, Coca-Cola in big shops. Coca-Cola is not the one that decides that these things are gonna go on sale. Uh, it's an agreement they have. Every big shop has an agreement with Coca-Cola themselves. How many times a year they're gonna have a discount for it, and Coca-Cola needs to actually pay the loss that that company is ensuing for applying the discount. Yeah, the more you know. And this is most likely the same thing that's happening with Microsoft and PlayStation.
bigger layoffs than we actually expect. Because when they say, oh, they're firing, let's say 4,000 people, 5,000 people, you guys got to understand this is a company of over 200,000 employees. There's over 200,000 employees working for Microsoft. So 5,000, 6,000, sure, that sounds like a lot. But in the grand scheme of things, it's really not a lot. But to cease all operations in certain sections of Europe, that is huge. That means they're firing a
Yeah, so there's a couple of things about this. It doesn't sound a lot. 5,000 doesn't sound a lot when you hear that the maximum is 200,000, but you need to understand that that 5,000 is probably in a division that's only like 15,000 large. So one third actually of that is getting cut, and that's massive.
lot of people. But in any case, this is going to be a big story to follow. I really don't know what's going to come of this, to be honest with you. I don't know how this is going to affect their gaming sector. I don't know how this is going to affect Game Pass. At this point, I'm just looking at Xbox and I'm wondering.
Game Pass is going to get more expensive. That's the only thing that they can do. I mean, the Game Pass growth has been zero for years upon years at this point. So they're gonna have to increase prices soon. That's all admittedly irrelevant to this situation. This could escalate things, but even I don't honestly know how this is really gonna impact them that much. But
wondering what the hell exactly are you doing? Because a lot of the decisions you're making just have me scratching my head. And I know you have a lot of fanboys that are going to think you could do no wrong. But when I see something like this, MetaQuest 3S Xbox Edition, I just question who thought that this was a great idea, considering the amount of money that Meta has lost over the last few years alone. It's insane. If you look at the specs here, let's check a look. Let's look at the specs really quick. So the CPU is a Qualcomm Snapdragon XR2 Gen 2.
it's crap. Yeah, we get it. What's a Snapdragon? I don't know. Probably a Warcraft 3 Naga unit. Anyway, that was Hypnotic. 10 out of 10. Xbox, you're fucking dead. It's over. GG. No re.